Hey everyone, I'm Mine, and this is every single LEGO Ninjago Wu minifigure ever made from 2011 to 2023. This is of course the latest video in my Every Ninja minifigure series, so if you've missed it, I've already done videos on the main 6 ninja, which you can see in the playlist in the description, and make sure to let me know in the comments which character you want to see in every minifigure video on next. I could do something like every Garmadon, or I could do like every member from a villain army, such as every Skullkin or every Serpentine or every Stone Warrior. So let me know in the comments what you want to see, or if you have any other ideas. And make sure to like this video if you want to see more. But now let's take a look at every single Wu minifigure ever made from 2011 to the first half of 2023. So Wu, of course, has not gotten as many variants as the main ninja team. He sometimes reuses the same variants across multiple waves. However, starting here in 2011, we actually have 3 Wu figures. We just have Wu's original robes, Microfigure Wu, and then Wu's original black robes. This is sometimes referred to as Wu's DX suit, but I don't believe that's official. I believe officially it is just his black robes. The original Wu, though, is a classic. Very simple design, but very well done. Something cool about him is he does have back torso printing, which a lot of the 2011 figures did not have. So it's cool to see that they made Wu feel extra special by giving it to him. He's got like this sort of red flower pattern at the back, and I do think that looks really nice. Turning back around to the front though, this is of course the first figure to introduce this iconic Wu beard, and you will see basically every Wu figure uses this, as well as the tan straw hat at the top. Removing those though, there you can see his full torso print, where you can see he's got that same symbol on the side, a few loose buttons that keep his shirt together, and there's his face print without the beard, which definitely looks very different, but I still think it fits him well enough. Yeah, I think this was a good start for Wu figures. I always liked how his belt's the same as the main ninja in the wave, just in black, to show that he is like the master, but it is a very simple design, so I don't have a ton else to say on it. Microfigure Wu, you will see, looks very similar, because it's basically a shrunken down version of Wu without his beard. I do think it's odd that they didn't print the beard on here. Instead, they replicated his face print without the beard, because he's never seen without the beard in the show, so it would have made sense to just print a beard on there, but I guess this still works. The microfigures are just a really cute thing to have in a collection, and I'm really glad I got the LEGO game set back in 2011 that came with all of them. So yeah, I'm happy to have them. They just use like a classic LEGO disc piece to be the hat, and I think it works pretty well, but yeah, I don't have a ton to say about him. And then the black suit for Wu I think actually looks really good. While the white suit's just meant to be kind of basic, the black suit feels very elegant and honestly kind of lives up to modern design standards. He's got this really intricate golden dragon on the back, which looks fantastic. You can see he's got like the 2011 dragon head at the top right there. Really beautiful design. I love how they did that. But then of course he's got the same beard, face, and hat. Taking that off though, you can see the full torso print, and yeah, it looks super nice. I love how you can see a bit of his undershirt in the center, and like these golden characters on the side are a nice touch. Now the interesting thing about this suit is it's not canon to the show, at least in this appearance. Wu with his beard and his hat never wore this outfit to my knowledge. However, in flashbacks, younger Wu is always wearing this outfit, so that makes it very easy to make a custom younger Wu, which I really appreciate. Also, this is a very small thing, but you may have heard me mention in reviews and whatnot, that LEGO often doesn't know how to do yellow printing well, so a lot of times printing will be discolored and whatnot, but that is not the case with this figure. You can see the yellow on the torso actually matches the yellow of the face, so even though it's covered up by the beard, that does look really nice, and I wish that's how modern figures looked, because yeah, it's a real shame that LEGO doesn't seem to be able to do that anymore. Now moving to 2012 and 2013, here are the 2 Wu figures we got in those years. You can see the same figures basically used across both years. There's just 2 variants, one with the same tan straw hat, and one that swaps it out for a gold straw hat, but they're basically the same thing. Again, still sticking with the same face print and beard, but there's a closer look at those hats. Turning them around, taking a look at the back torso print, just has a smaller dragon symbol there. I mean, it looks fine, but definitely not as cool as the black suit on Wu, which has a very similar dragon, though a lot bigger, and in gold instead of just the solid black. And then taking the beard and head off, there's a look at the full torso print, and yeah, I mean, it's alright. I guess it's a little bit better than the torso on the original 2011 Wu. However, I prefer the original 2011 one just because it's more nostalgic. But I think swapping the black belt out for a gray one's a bit of a mistake. Black definitely looked better and fit Wu better. I do like all the little dragons here. I think that's a nice touch. But yeah, overall, I think this is mostly a downgrade from 2011. Additionally, this is one of the few Wu suits that's not canon to the show at all. Despite having this appearance in the 2012 and 2013 sets, in the show, Wu stuck with his 2011 appearance. So yeah, these aren't even canon, and I don't think they look that great. So they're probably some of my least favorites. Now coming to Season 3 Rebooted in 2014, here is the 1 Wu figure released in that wave. We of course have Tech Wu. While I'm not the biggest fan of Tech Wu in the show, I think it's a very silly idea, and doesn't really fit in the world of Ninjago. I do have to say, the minifigure is pretty fire. He swaps the white beard out for a black one. He's got new metal plating on his face, which we'll take a closer look at in a moment. And now he's got a silver straw hat, which is a really awesome recolor. Turning around, taking a look at his back torso print, you can see it's somewhat based on his 2011 suit, though that like red flower symbol's been swapped out for this gear, which is the symbol for the Ninjoids. And then he also has some metallic plating at the back just to add some more detail, and that does look super nice. Removing his hat and beard, there's a full look at the face print. I love that metal plating on the face. You can see it actually continues around the back, which helps this guy look great from all angles. And then the torso print's super detailed as well. Lots of different colors used. I love the little streak of purple. And again, like one arm is more mechanical than the other, and then he's got a little belt at the very base. The red eyes too, yeah, this guy's super creepy and ominous. One of the most unique Wu figures we've ever gotten. So while a lot of Wu suits are very samey, and while I'm not a fan of this guy of the show, this is probably one of the best Wu minifigures. Great storytelling with the design of the minifigure, like it's very clear what he's supposed to be, and he's also just full of detail. Would have liked some leg print to go this one, maybe like a purple belt, but with the Ninjago Rebooted, most of the minifigures didn't get leg printing for some reason, and I feel like no leg printing here isn't as out of place as some of the others, so I don't mind it too much. Yeah, this guy's really great. Now coming to 2015, there was no new Sensei Wu minifigure for Tournament of Elements Season 4. However, Season 5 Possession introduced this minifigure, and I'm happy to see they mix things up with this guy. Many of the Wu suits are very samey, just kind of being elegant white robes. So while this does still use white as the base color, I'm glad they mixed things up with like the light gray hands and all the gray detailing on the torso. Stuck with the gold hat from 2013, which while I normally prefer the tan, I think the gold works for this suit, but you can see he's still sticking with that same face print. Or at least that's what you think when the beard is on. But no, actually, they did change the face print ever so slightly. Now he's just got a slight little smirk, as opposed to the more serious expression he had before. That's pretty obvious when the beard's removed, but when it's on, it looks almost identical, so I'm not sure why they didn't change that more. I'm happy to see them change things up and give Wu a new expression, but yeah, I wish it was just more drastic of a difference. Luckily, they do end up changing things 2 years later, but yeah, that's an interesting change. But yeah, now you can see the full robes, and I think these look fantastic. The gray with the gold trim is super elegant, and then it's got like these little gold symbols in the center. Love like the silver dragon heads too, and then he's got that symbol from his original suit in the center, like on his belt. You've got some buckles coming in on the legs, which are very similar to the buckles on the ninja's kimono suits. That's a cool asset reuse. And then turn him around once again, that same original symbol, though in gold now, and then he's got shurikens out the back. This just feels like a Wu suit more designed for battle, and I'm glad they played with this color scheme a little bit, because yeah, while this is just still a white Wu suit, it does a nice job of setting itself apart from some of the others. That actually wasn't the only Wu minifigure in 2015 though, because we did get two others that were both exclusives. This one was exclusive to the Temple of Air Jitsu set, the first Ninjago D2C, a big $200 set, while this one was exclusive to a book called The Secret World of the Ninja. Now this guy did appear in the show in Possession, but this guy I don't believe is canon anywhere at all. Starting with this one though, this looks good. Again, nice way to mix things up. Not a battle suit like the one we just looked at, a more casual suit, but still they give this one a more unique identity by giving him a tan torso and like these tan robes coming down. Once again, they're using gold for trim, actually very similar to the design on like the gray suit. However, the gray versus the tan makes them distinct enough from each other, while also feeling like they fit together really well. And I'm happy that this one is canon to the show. I think the back torso on this one looks really pretty. Again, that same symbol, but I love like the gold surrounding it too. And removing the hat and beard there, you can see the full torso print, and you can see there's even more gold trim on the robe underneath. And then the Secret World of the Ninja Wu I think is weird. It's probably just one of the strangest exclusives we've ever gotten. It doesn't look bad, but I feel like it doesn't do enough to set itself apart from other suits. So as such, I feel like there's better options for exclusives out there. Because of course he's got the same hat and beard, but with it removed there you can see the full torso print. And I have to say, this torso does look really good. It's just most of it's covered up by the beard. So with the beard on, it feels very similar to like other white Wu suits. You see with like this one and with the gray one, the unique parts of the suit are outside of the beard, but with this one, most of the unique parts of the suit are covered by the beard. So it just makes this one feel a little less interesting. It is a great torso part though. Again, I love all the gold and the sort of like runic design running down. It looks really nice. Turning around, the back torso print does look really good too, I will admit. I like the sort of golden belt at the base, but at the end of the day, I feel like this suit ends up being a bit forgettable. I just kind of wish they'd done a bit more to make it stand out. Because yeah, when Wu's a character that we don't get all too often, but then in late 2015 we suddenly get 3 Wu figures, this one being exclusive to a $20 book and easily being the worst of the 3 is pretty disappointing. I am happy we got this guy though. He's a very fun inclusion. Now coming to 2016 in Skybound, this is the only kind of new Wu figure we got. It's just the Possession Wu, but with a helmet and goggles instead of his hat. Normally I don't count a figure like this as its own figure, because it's just a combination of parts from other figures, but it's silly and there's not too many Wu figures, so I thought I might as well include it in the video. It is a funny variant to get, but yeah, it's not that much different. But in 2016, we also had Day of the Departed, and in that wave we did get a new Wu figure. However, this is another one I find a little bit disappointing. Day of the Departed was all about nostalgia for the first 2 waves of Ninjago, and the ninja suits were really cool, mixing the 2011 and 2012 suits. However, Wu's is just kind of a worse version of his 2011 suit, and as you've seen, there's not too many Wu figures, and a lot of them are quite samey, just being white with some slight detailing, so making just another plain white Wu suit's not super exciting. Additionally, no leg printing here, which like in Rebooted, okay, none of the minifigures had leg printing, but at this point, basically every Ninjago minifigure had leg printing, so cutting it out on this figure does not do it any favors, especially because the actual printing on the minifigure is mostly covered up by Wu's beard. But yeah, with the beard removed, you can see it's mostly just a modernized design of the original figure, and like, yeah, the lines are thicker, it does seem to match up with modern LEGO design standards, but I think the 2011 one is just kind of better because it has that leg printing, and it is more nostalgic because it's what actually appeared in the first season of the show. This just appeared in Day of the Departed and Hands of Time. Turning him around though, taking a look at his back torso print, this is one thing that I quite like. They added the sacred flute to the back of his torso print. On top of that original symbol, though, you can see they messed with it a little bit, gave it a more unique shape. That is a very cool touch, and by far the best part of the figure. I just wish it was a bit more unique from the front. Still, though, I guess if you missed out on the original 2011 Wu, this is a nice alternative. But yeah, aside from that back torso print, it is not one of my favorites. Now coming to 2017, I of course mentioned that Season 7 Hands of Time just reused the Day of the Departed Wu, but in 2017 we of course also had the LEGO Ninjago movie, and we got a total of 3 Wu minifigures in that wave, though they all are quite similar to each other. So the only difference between these two are their face prints. These two both came in mainline sets, but this guy on the very end was the one that came in the Ninjago movie minifigure series, so he has a slightly different face print, as well as arm printing. They did stick with the same beard and hat for the movie, and the same general facial structure. You'll see that Wu did get new face prints here, but they're more just new expressions for his old design. They didn't redesign him like they did with the rest of the ninja. I do really like the physical cloth pieces that they come with though. That's a nice way to mix things up. Same thing with the tan legs. A nice way to add a splash of color in, not make him feel too similar to previous Wu suits. You can see the back torso print though is very reminiscent of the original 2011 suit, where you can see they did change up that symbol a bit, but it is still something very similar. And you can see that actually the minifigure series version is a little less detailed. It doesn't have these folds in the back of the robe. And then removing the beards and hats, so now you can see the full face prints as well as the full torso prints. The torsos I think look nice, very monochrome, but I think that works. Good transition from the torso into the dress piece. I wish the colors matched a little bit better, but it's not a huge deal. But I think the best part about these guys is for sure the new face prints. You've got a total of 3 of them here. This first one's the one that they continue to use into Ninjago Legacy, and that's the surprised Happy Wu face. I think it's a really good expression. I feel like it shouldn't have become the standard, but it's a nice alternative option to have. Then in the center we have like this really determined face, and then at the very end this face Wu just looks a little bit proud. Great selection of options for the character, and while all the face prints are smiling, when the beards are on the expression feels a little more ambiguous. So like this one in the end could seem a little bit worried, and the one in the middle seems more angry. Yeah, great new options to have. Really glad they changed it up, and I think the actual design of the Wu figures are really good as well. Oh, I guess I didn't show the leg print without the dress, but it's just plain tan underneath there, so definitely looks best with the dress on. Then in 2018 Season 8 Sons of Garmadon, we only got 1 Wu figure, but actually wait, that's not Wu, that's Cole. Well, hold on, and we turn this guy around. There's Wu. So yeah, of course, at the end of Hands of Time, Wu disappeared into the time vortex, and then he's rediscovered in Sons of Garmadon as a baby, and we do get baby Wu in one set, in this little baggie that Cole holds onto. And yeah, that's a very simple little figure. Just a stud, a stamp piece, and then a Lego baby head. He doesn't even get the full baby body. It would have been nice if it included the baby body as well, but that wouldn't be able to fit into the bag. So an alternate option would have been cool, but I get why they did it like this. So yeah, that's a very cute and funny figure to have. Also in 2018, we of course had Ninjago Hunted, and we actually got a total of 3 Wu minifigures for this wave. We just have standard Dragon Hunter Teen Wu, then we have Dragon Master Wu, and then we have Golden Dragon Armor Wu. Just the standard like Teen Wu or Dragon Hunter Wu I think is fine. The coolest part about him is for sure the hairpiece. It's the Cole hairpiece from the LEGO Ninjago movie, though recolored in white and like this gold. Very cool color combination that fits Wu so perfectly. And I do love the new face print on him, with like the little mustache and goatee and the stubble around it. And then the Dragon Hunter torso is nice. I believe it actually is exclusive to this guy. They don't reuse it on any of the other Dragon Hunters, but does fit in well with them. However, it's one of the more simplistic designs, and he doesn't get any like leg printing or anything. But then with the hairpiece removed, you can see his full face print. Those eyebrows definitely match like the older Wus. And then turning him around, you can see his alternate face, which just got an angrier expression. Yeah, aside from the hairpiece, I feel like it's a kind of simple figure, but it works well for what it's meant to be. And of course, it's super different from other Wu suits. But then these two are even more different. So obviously these two use gold as their main color scheme. Starting with Golden Dragon Wu, this one is not canon to the show. It was just made up for the sets. And it's probably the best of the Golden Dragon ninja suits. He uses the movie ninja mask pieces. However, he has no printing on them. And the top part's dual molded in gold and white, while the bottom part's just in gold. And all of those are exclusive to this one figure, which are very cool to see. Torso print looks great. I love using gold as the base color and then putting white on top. That's something that you don't see all too often. And in fact, I can't even think of another minifigure that uses this exact color scheme, but it looks super elegant. It makes this figure feel like very unique. They also do that thing where they use gold printing on top of like a gold piece, so it's super subtle unless you like reflect it in the light. But you can see there's like a texture of like an armored vest there, and that continues into the legs. The Dragon Master suits are designed to sort of be like aviator-ish, and a golden aviator outfit is just such a ridiculous idea, but I think it's executed so perfectly. And then around the back you can see he's got like this dragon symbol, again in that gold printing. Super elegant minifigure, really cool one to get. And with the mask removed, you can see he's got the same face as the normal Teen Wu. And then finally the Golden Dragon Armor Wu. This guy once again super elegant. You can see the two of them share the same exact leg print, however they have unique torso prints. But the coolest part about this version of Wu is that armor piece. I love like the dragon design on the armor with the scales that come down the chest and how the face is like biting down on one arm. The way the mask is molded in two to come up over Wu's face. And then the silver horns at the top are a nice way to mix the colors up. You can see he's also got a flag attached to his back. because there's 2 studs back there. And then removing the armor, there's his full torso print, which you can see has like a very medieval design. He feels like a knight in golden armor, and he uses a lot of the same design aesthetics that Dragon Master Wu uses. Yeah, this one might be my pick for my favorite Wu minifigure, because while it's of course so different from every other Wu minifigure, it just looks so good. It's Wu in his full battle armor, and he just looks fantastic. But now coming to 2019 and Ninjago Legacy / Season 10 March of the Oni, here is the one Wu minifigure that we got in that wave, of course Legacy Wu, and this is basically just a remake of the 2011 Black Robes Wu, which as I mentioned I do like as a figure, but I don't know. On the one hand I sort of like that its legacy sort of being faithful to the originals, but on the other hand I wish it was more unique, because as someone who did collect back in 2011, I have plenty of the original figure, so this guy doesn't do too much to differentiate himself. Like you can see the dragon design on the back's a bit different, and then the text on the side's been replaced by Ninjago. The layout of the belt's a little bit different. You can see he reuses like the movie surprised face, and there's a look at the torso with everything removed. But yeah, it just kind of feels like a worse version of the 2011 suit. I appreciate at the very least they didn't remake the white suit, because of course they already did that in Day of the Departed, and we didn't need a third remake of that suit. So choosing the black suit instead was smart, but overall I find it to be a kind of boring figure. A good way to mix things up though, I guess. So you know how I just said I'm glad they didn't remake the 2011 white suit for a third time? Well, here's where they remade the 2011 white suit for a third time. This is a Teen Wu figure that's exclusive to a book, and I don't really know what the point of it is. This is not canon to the show, he never wore this outfit in the show, and it's just another half remake of the original white 2011 suit. It's even more of a remake than Day of the Departed though. It's got the red symbol on the side. At the very least he does have leg printing now, but then these legs later got reused on other figures, so it's not even exclusive to this guy. And of course the hair and face you've already seen, so the only exclusive part here is the torso, which doesn't do too much new. Like look how similar those two are. I don't know, I feel like this is a really lame figure. Like not bad, don't get me wrong, and I guess if you don't have 2011 Wu, this is a fine figure to get because it's pretty close to it. But again, of all the figures they could have made, really? This is what they choose to do? Remaking a suit that they've already remade once? It makes me kind of feel bad for talking bad about that other exclusive Wu, because that one, while it was a white suit, at least it's something kind of new. This one is just straight up a remake. So yeah, I don't have a ton to say about it. It was a cheap way to get the Teen Wu hairpiece, I guess, if you missed out on the bigger set that he came in. But yeah, there was so many better options for this guy. Not the biggest fan of this one. But then also in 2019, we had Season 11, Secrets of the Forbidden Spinjitzu, and here we got one of the best Wu suits of all time. I love this minifigure, it is super cool. Right off the bat, he does a lot of things that previous Wu suits don't do. Still sticking with the same beard, of course, but for the first time ever, Wu has a redesign for his face. Not sure how I feel about this, because I feel like the classic Wu was pretty good, but I'm not entirely against it because it does look good. A bit weird though that this came so many years after the rest of the ninja got their redesign. But he's got a pretty unique color scheme too. He sticks with the same white for his torso, but now they introduced a red belt, which is a really nice splash of color, and then dark brown for the legs, which looks super nice. But the coolest part about this figure, in my opinion, is the cape around the back. It's like this fluffy dark brown cape in a shape that they don't really use for any other minifigures. Like, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I think this is an exclusive cape just for Wu. So it makes this figure feel extra special. He's also now got a printed ponytail at the back of his head, which I don't believe he had in the show before this season, but it's similar to what the first Spinjitzu master had, so it's cool to see Wu kind of match his father. And then flipping the cape up, taking a look at the back torso print, there you can see you've got a golden dragon there, sort of similar to the 2011 black suit, but the red belt and gray at the top add some really nice splashes of color. And then removing the cape and beard piece on this guy, there you can see the full torso print as well as the full face print. Full face print, you can see now he's got a full beard printed onto his face, instead of just the mustache and goatee. And then the robes just have a lot more color to them. Maybe a bit less elegant than previous suits, but a lot nicer looking, if that makes any sense. Yeah, of course I love Golden Dragon Armor Wu, but in terms of just like regular Wu suits that aren't things like that, this one is probably my favorite, because yeah, this is really great. Super unique figure, and as you'll see, we haven't really gotten too many standard Wu suits since this guy, but if we get another one such as for the new show this year, I hope they're more like this, because yeah, this guy's fantastic. Coming to 2020 and Season 12 Prime Empire, we didn't get any new Wu minifigures that wave. However, with Season 13 Master of the Mountain, which also released that year, we did get this figure, Hero Wu. Hero Wu uses the same leg piece as the 2019 Wu, however he has an all-new torso print, an all-new armor piece. This seems like it's meant to be a more battle-ready version of Wu, which is very cool to see. It's something we don't see all too often. We of course saw it with the Golden Dragon Armor Wu, but that was Teen Wu. It kind of reminds me of his Great Possession suit, though with a very different color scheme. But yeah, it looks like he's ready to fight, which is very cool to see. Same beard that he's always had, and same face and hat that he got in 2019. And then removing those, there's a full look at the torso print, where you can see it almost looks like it's made of wooden armor, with like some rope creating the seams. gardens. Or maybe it's not rope, because that's actually metallic printing. Regardless though, it looks super nice, with the dark tan arms too, a super unique color scheme for Wu. I really like how with the Wild Brain era they really started messing with his color scheme, trying new things with him, because yeah, it looks really great. Now coming to 2021, this was of course the 10th anniversary of Ninjago, so we got 10th anniversary golden figures for all of the ninja, as well as one for Wu. Wu, however, was unique from the others, because he actually got a fully golden figure, while the rest of the ninja got figures more like this, where their faces were still yellow, but they were wearing golden suits. However, Wu did come in 2 sets, the Ninjago City Gardens, and the 2021 Employee Gift, and in this set he did not come with the golden head by default, so I do consider these to be 2 different variants. But all the exclusive prints are the same, the only difference is this guy does not have the golden beard and head. But I love the 10th anniversary golden figures, and I think Wu is definitely one of the best. The fact that they made him fully gold is a really nice touch, makes it feel extra special, but the level of detail in these figures is crazy. You can see there's lots of gold printing on top of the gold pieces, which as I mentioned, I love to see. He's got like the shuriken symbol in the center, and this almost like wind design going up it, but then taking his beard off. Unlike most of the ninja who have like their main color pretty predominantly on their golden suits, with Wu he's almost entirely gold. He's got a few touches of white, which I'm happier there, because they really pop, but even his undershirt is still gold, with like this intricate golden pattern on it. There's more of that wind design, and then the runes coming up the side that all the ninja have. You can see his face print is a golden version of his modern face print. I kind of wish they went with the classic design here, because it's more iconic, and at this time he was still using it in Ninjago Legacy. But he does have a golden ponytail at the back, which is a very cool touch. This is a really beautiful minifigure all around, and a great way to celebrate 10 years of Ninjago. I'm really glad we got this guy. In 2021, we also had Season 14, The Island, and Seabound. And while The Island didn't get any new Wu minifigures, and Seabound technically didn't either, we did get this guy, a Wu bot. And while he isn't technically Wu, he does have Wu's face on him and Wu in the name, so I thought I might as well include him in this video. And he is a very goofy but very fun design. He's just got like this little television screen minifigure legs, which you can see are the same ones as the book exclusive Teen Wu, which we just looked at. Little flippers so he could swim around, and that's about all there is to him. Very fun printed faceplate to get. Really happy this guy exists because he's just so goofy. While he really wasn't in the show, I guess they appeared for a moment, but not in this form. I'm so happy they came in sets, because it's such a ridiculous concept, but I absolutely love the Wu bot. I'm so happy to have him. And then coming to 2022, we had the introduction of Ninjago Core, and we had one entirely new Wu minifigure released this wave, as well as a new variant on the Wu bot. Core Wu, though, I like. Certainly not one of my favorites, but I do think it's pretty good. Weirdly, he's gone back to the Legacy Wu head, which I'm not sure why he did that. Legacy Wu I kinda get, that's like the classic design that he had in the show, but with Core, I'm not sure why they wouldn't want to use the modern Wu head design. Anyway, he uses a tan robe this time around, sort of similar to the variant that came in the Temple of Jitsu. He's got text on the back of his torso that says Master in the Ninjago language, and then he's got this design of this golden belt at the bottom, which does look really pretty. It's actually similar to what we saw in the 10th anniversary Golden Wu, very similar design. Taking his beard and hat off, there you can see the full torso print, and I actually do really like the gold trim over everything. The little ropes on the knees are a fun touch, and I like the gold bits on the undershirt too. Yeah, this is a very solid Wu figure. I'm happy to see they did something a little more unique for Core, but I don't think it's anywhere near as good as like his Season 11 variant. And then the new Wu bot is basically the same, except now he doesn't have flippers, has these stud shooters at the top of his head instead. That's a fun new way to mix up the play features, and I still really love him. Happy to see he came in more sets, but I don't have a ton else to say on him. And then finally coming to Season 15 Crystalized, here is the most recent Wu figure, at least for now. The first half of 2023 just re-released Core Wu, and as of the time of me recording this, I don't know what the second half of the year holds, so I have no clue if there's going to be any more new Wu minifigures. But yeah, as of this video going up, this is the most recent Wu minifigure to come out, and I have to say, it is a really good one. So you can see he's returned to the dragon armor, just like he had in Hunted. However, this time, instead of being in the full dragon armor, it's kind of a combination of the dragon armor and his standard sensei robes. I think that's a really awesome middle ground. It helps call back to Ninjago's history and Wu's history with the dragon armor, while also still giving him his like most recognizable appearance. He's also got a banner out the back with the letter R on it for resistance. But now let's remove that armor piece so you can see the torso up a little bit closer. And here you can see Wu's got printed golden armor underneath. There's like this dark orange color that they use for detailing, and I think that fits super well with the gold. I love how bulky and plated everything feels. Again, this feels like yet another Wu suit that's meant for battle, which I think what we saw a total of 4 times in this video, but whenever we get it, it's super cool. He calls back to his classic symbol around the back too, and that is the original version of the symbol, not like the updated one from Day of the Departed. That makes me very happy to see. And there's metallic printing on that too. But then back to the front, yeah, I really like this guy. The only part I'm maybe not the biggest fan of is the gray. I feel like the gray is maybe a little bit out of place. I might have preferred like the dark red from his Season 11 suit, or even like a black belt to call back to his 2011 suit. Gray and gold, I don't know, maybe not the best color scheme here. Or it's more the gray and the orange. Gray and gold works, as we saw in 2015. But luckily, especially with the armor on, it's not too overbearing. So while it's definitely not my favorite, this one's probably still up there in my top 5 or top 10. Great design that fits the vibes of Crystalized perfectly. As like a finale suit for Wu, if we consider Crystalized the finale of the original run of Ninjago, I think this guy is pretty perfect. And there you go, there is every single Sensei Wu minifigure from 2011 to the first half of 2023. Again, I'm specifying first half because I have no clue what's coming in the second half. There may be more, or there may not be. This may be the final Sensei Wu minifigure, at least for now. We will just have to see. Make sure to let me know in the comments which one was your favorite and which one was your least favorite. I gotta be honest, none of these were bad. The worst suits were kind of just boring, but there was no truly terrible figures here. My favorite for sure, though, would probably have to be Season 11 Wu, but I also really like Golden Dragon Armor Wu, Tech Wu, and honestly the original 2011 Wu just for nostalgia reasons. And then least favorite would have to be the Teen Wu that was exclusive to the book, just because it feels really redundant and unnecessary, and 2013 Wu. I just don't like that figure. But yeah, I'm curious to hear what your favorites and least favorites are in the comments below. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, if you want to see more every minifigure videos, make sure to like this one, and let me know what other characters or armies or whatever you want to see in every minifigure video on next. And as for this video, I think that's about all I have to say. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!